Producing a great guitar tone is not just the job of your amplifier or modeler. The size of your cabinet and the speakers it is loaded with, alongside the recording chain, make up for 60% of a good recorded guitar tone. In recent times, the use of cabinet simulators such as IR loaders has made the process of getting a good guitar tone in the box a reality. But what if I tell you that there is a way to take those sounds a step further, like in this example? Stick around, because in this video I will show you how to do it yourself. Let's go! For this example, I'm gonna be using a song that I'm working on at the moment. I recently reamped through the use of my amplifiers, in this case my Mesa Boogie amplifier, DC5, which I recorded using the load box method. For the speaker cabinet simulation, I'm using the Celestion plugin created by Softube. Fantastic! If you want to know more about it, there's a video somewhere on the screen. And from there I'm gonna be applying the next stage. It's gonna be the Sound City Studios by Universal Audio. So let's begin. Let me show you what we're gonna be working with. Now, when I was producing the track, I decided to record this guitar in this way. First we got a track coming out of the left side, then one coming out of the right side, and then I recorded a track in the center, which I then, through the use of a micro pitch pedal, I doubled the sound, but this one it was tracked as a stereo track. Micro pitch is a modulation effect that will detune your signal in micro intervals, that once mixed with the dry signal creates a wide and lush stereo effect. When used on guitar, it adds plenty of robustness and punch. In my case, I use the Eventide H90 to produce that sound, but there are several options in pedal format, such as the Mimic by TC Electronics, and in the case of software, you got the Microshift by Soundtoys. This final layer of guitars will allow the sound to be much more punchier and kinda ballsier sounding without getting in the way. So let's begin. First, let me introduce you to my little friend, the Sound City Studios plugin. It is capable of recreating the sound characteristics of the famed Sound City Studios live room. In this case, I'll use it to reamp my guitar sound to add some room sound to my recording. It allows you to change the microphones used for the process, move them around, and mix them to taste. When double tracking guitars, it's very important for you to have some form of differences or diversity when it comes to the tone in between the different takes. The way I like to do it is not by changing the parameters on my amplifier, but rather I prefer to use the different sounds coming out of the positioning of the microphones, or even changing the cabinet used for the second take. This will give you a much more thicker, powerful, and precise sound due to the fact that each of the guitar sounds coming out of the both sides of your speakers, it's going to be slightly different from each other. Now let's work on the guitar on the right. First, I'm going to just copy the Sound City Studios plugin that I used on the left, and from there, I'm going to begin applying the principles that I explained to you. I'm going to try to get a different tone just by simply tweaking with the sound of the microphones. By the way, my name is Adam, and if you happen to be finding this video useful and informative, please let me know by clicking on the like button underneath. And if you want to keep getting more videos like this coming down your way, subscribe to this channel and ring the notification bell. Let's continue. Time to work with the stereo guitars. These were recorded fully wet with the micro pitch pedal. When you are crafting sounds, don't shy away from using more mix-oriented tools. Think that the closer the recorded sound is to the final result, the better the mix will be, since the focus will be on pushing the sound forward rather than fixing issues and hoping for the best. So there you have it. Those are some of the techniques that I use on a daily basis to create a much more realistic tone. I think the results speak for themselves, and I totally recommend you to explore and see if you can get Sound City Studios. It's a fantastic plugin. I don't only use it for this kind of approach because it also serves very well whenever you're dealing with a not necessarily the best recorded drum take, or if you want to add a little bit of extra flair to something like a synthesizer through the use of the Reamp capabilities that this software has to offer. If you got any question, please let me know in the comment section down below. And if you want to support this channel, the best way to do it is by listening to music on Apple Music or Spotify, and also by following us on social media such as Instagram and X, because that's the best way for you to get in touch with us in a much more personal basis. But you can also join our Discord where we can keep this conversation going. So, that being said, the only thing left to remind it is that you should never let anybody tell you what to dream about, and remember that I'll see you when I see you.